You should use a condom before you listen.
The American dream is dead.
John Lisle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew Bennett, Beaver Kool-Aid.
Yes, what is Lloyd drinking tonight?
Lloyd is drinking a fine Chardonnay because it was 91 degrees in Texas today, so I decided to go white.
Chardonnay.
Like you could go any other way. All right, Chardonnay.
I feel like he should have
fit your signet ring on your
right.
Shouldn't
he have like a scarf on, like a silk scarf?
Yeah, probably.
Well, after the leg bandana show, I figured I could switch over to scarves tonight. So why not?
Yeah, and Chardonnay.
Yeah,
that's great, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
At least I didn't bring up a musical.
Why don't you just go ahead with the surgery and make it happen?
Because the masking is way easier. I don't have to deal with the surgery.
Chardonnay is like, hey, John, I think Chardonnay is like a step above Riesling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get down to Riesling, you've really made the switch.
Well, once it gets a little bit warmer, as we get into like July or August, I'll probably switch over to the rosé at that point. So,
Well, I look forward to those episodes of Beaver Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys what happened to me in Toronto?
Yeah.
You were in Toronto?
Yeah, so I went to Toronto last week. I was there for Canadian Music Week, which is a time to go and drink Canadian beer, which I don't know if our American listeners know is a lot stronger than American beer.
Really? I thought it was lighter.
No.
Wow.
Not by about 9%. And so I go and my buddy gets us tickets to the Jays game on Tuesday, Wednesday. And so we go and they have king cans of beer there that are, imagine what you would think a king can would look like. And that's what it is.
24 ounces?
It's a large 32 ounce can of beer.
Wow.
Oh, it won't be ounces.
Yeah. It wouldn't be. It's like a liter. It's like 780 milliliters.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
But that sounded all right. I was
right.
I believed it.
yeah. I usually have those.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but it's huge. So we had one of those, and we sit down and we're watching the game. And man, they're playing the Seattle Mariners, and the Mariners just killing the Jays. I got my Jays hat on, my Jays shirt. I'm in good shape, and we're just getting our ass kicked. And so it's fifth inning. We've had 2 king cans apiece, me and my buddy, at this point. I mean, we are 3 sheets, my friends, like having a hard time finding our way back to the hotel.
Dude, with 2.
But I say, we're down 5-0. Let's get out of here and go drink. And my buddy says, yeah, fuck it. Let's go. So we leave and we walk back to the hotel. We find our hotel and we go back and we drink further. And the night ends at the bar. I wake up the next morning. I turn it on Sportsnet, which is Canada's version of Sportsnet. Sportsnet.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to tell you all about the sports that happened today, guys, eh? And so they say, well, the Seattle Mariners pitched a no-hitter last night at the Rogers Stadium against the Blue Jays in a 5-0 loss. And the pitcher was the Canadian, and it was the first time that a Canadian pitcher had pitched a no-hitter on Canadian soil since 1943.
And you drank right through it.
We drank right through it and left it at the 5th inning.
Congratulations.
Bryce came back in the 8th. You missed that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he did.
Right after the 7th inning stretch, and it's like, wait a minute.
So 2 years prior, I had gone to the Jays game there, and I'm there with a bunch of friends, and we know the guy that's the stadium announcer, and we had gone up and toured the broadcast booth. So cool. And we get down and we sit in our seats, and so we have a good idea that they're going to put us on the Diamond Vision, right? Which, by the way, when I said Diamond Vision up in Canada, they all thought I was weird. You guys think I'm weird for saying Diamond Vision?
No, I get it.
I think you have to be from here, maybe.
I thought you were weird anyhow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. So anyway, I get up and go to the bathroom. And I come back and my buddies are like, we were on the fucking Diamond Vision. And you were in the bathroom, you idiot.
So you missed that too.
The game goes on. I gotta piss again. So I get up and I go to the bathroom. I come back. They caught a ball. They caught a foul ball. So I have not witnessed at least 3 events that you might want to witness at a baseball game, because I've either left early or been in the bathroom.
Well, stay away from Houston, for God's sake, because maybe they got a chance to beat the Warriors. You know, I'd hate for you to fuck that up.
Maybe I should go and just stay in the bathroom.
You're the cooler. But good things happen when you're gone.
Right. I have to go first and then leave.
So why don't you skip next week's podcast and
right, then Lloyd and I talk about how we both picked the winning lottery numbers.
Oh, so here's a great story. So I go to LA and I get off the plane and I find the dispensary closest to the hotel and I walk over and I buy about $70 worth of weed. I get a couple of pre-rolled joints and I get 2 gummies. Mm-hmm. And the gummies are about $20 a piece.
Wow.
And you have to eat them in quarters. And if you eat any
how
more,
big are they? That's a lot.
You know what a chunky the chunky candy bar looks like? It's a square candy bar. It comes in a silver.
Yeah.
They're about that size.
Okay.
But not that thick. They're just a regular, what you would think it would be thick on a gummy. And then it's flat. So you eat a quarter of that, and then 2 hours later, you're floating down the street. And so I grab a couple of those, and I ate one of them while I was in LA and thought, well, I'll just take the other one back. But anyway, I take it out of the foil package because I don't want that to go off while I'm walking through security. And so I take that off, walk through security. Great, done. Got this gummy, but it's in my pocket, right? So I'm starving, and I'm going to go get some fish tacos at the LAX Terminal 3 before I leave California. And I go get my tacos, and I sit down, and I eat. I check my pocket, no gummy. What the fuck? And so I think, well, retrace your steps. And so I retrace my steps to the taco stand, and there's my gummy right there on the floor.
Really?
In the LAX airport.
Did you eat it?
So I picked it up.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking
about. I take it to the bathroom, and I wash it off in the LAX bathroom sink.
Oh, my God.
And then I put it in a paper towel, and I stuffed that in my bag, and I board the plane. So I get off the plane in Austin, and I get home, and I pull it out of the bag, and that paper towel is all stuck over it. Oh, boy. It's on it, right? Now I got to leave for Toronto, so I leave for Toronto, and I come home, and I've been thinking about that the whole time. I'm thinking, man, when you put the gummy underneath the water again, is it just going to wash off the paper towel? I'm thinking like Bill Nye the Science Guy here. And so I go back and I wash off, I put the paper towel gummy underneath the sink. Paper towel comes right off. And I get a brand new floor gummy from the LAX airport. And so I put that on a, one of the, like when you go to a hotel and they give you the box of soap.
Yeah.
It's like a little flat round box of soap. They give you the box and it's kind of got a sheen. It's got a little coating on that.
Right.
Little, So I put the gummy on that so I can peel it off later. And I let that dry out. And then I went and ate a quarter off of that. And it was delicious.
Wow. Well, that is educational indeed.
But the bottom line is it beats whatever Chardonnay you're hitting.
Yeah, man.
The LAX floor gummy. So have you found in your traveling to the states where pot's legal, being the aficionado that you are, have you found that you enjoy it more where it's just everywhere, or do you go like, it's okay, that it just you have access to it everywhere? I mean, like LA, for example, when you were out there.
Yeah, so I was in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago for this radio convention. And you get off the plane and you smell weed, right? And you get in on the street and you smell it. And you get into the hotel room, you smell it on down the hall because everybody's happy to be there and they're smoking weed in their hotel rooms.
Wow.
And then you know what I'm saying? And then you get to the dispensary and it smells like weed there.
Imagine that.
And then you buy your weed and then now you smell like weed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah, and your Uber driver
everywhere.
smells like weed. And
It's everywhere is my point. And I will say that, listen, I smoke more weed than Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg put together. Okay. Let me just be real honest.
I never knew that.
And I couldn't deal with it. Like it was too much weed all the time.
Wow.
At least in Los Angeles, it's just, and listen, here's the other thing. I was in Hollywood, right? I was also in the butthole of Los Angeles.
Right.
So there's that. But it was
probably
everywhere.
more often than Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg
It was
combined.
it was at the Jack in the Box. I mean, good Lord.
Well, I
So
didn't really
bad.
notice it that bad when I was in Seattle. Now, it hadn't been legal that long when I was there, and of course, I'd see people walking down the street smoking it, which I guess that's really not legal. I mean, what are you supposed to keep it to the confines of your?
I think all that flannel like soaks it up.
Yeah, it's
You
possible.
can't smell it.
But I didn't really see it everywhere. I mean, I saw it everywhere. I just didn't smell it like you're describing in LA. So, but I guess if you're in Hollywood at the Jack in the
It's
Box,
Hollywood.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So you are tired of it when you get there and when it's just overwhelming. So it makes you not want to smoke pot because you've got so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
It makes you really just want to not deal with it.
Does it
Because
make you
just-
crave
it's
fried foods?
You know, I always crave fried food. Look at me.
It's like, if I could just be around a deep fryer right now.
I look like a Pillsbury open can of biscuits. Look at me. I look like that.
Is that what it's
like
like
a-
when you unbutton
pastry
the
cup.
pants? It's like
Yeah.
snapping the can of biscuits.
It pops right out, right? With a spoon, scares you a little bit.
What's your go-to food after you get the munchies when you're traveling? That is, do you hit the mini fridge in the hotel or do you go out
Boy,
to the?
this sounds like one of these interviews you do for your countdown
Well,
show.
I mean, are you going to ask me what inspired me to make my next album? I did eat the $11 bag of cashews one night when I was drunk.
Wow,
Uh-oh.
that's good.
Mini bar.
And I
Yeah,
did it 3 times, you guys, and I owed $33 in incidentals on nuts.
these nuts.
Yeah, and then you complain when the wife spends a couple of extra bucks at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. That's on your expense account, though,
What
right?
was that $33 for? No, I have to put that. I can't put nuts on my
Yeah, you
expense
can't
account.
expense the nuts from the mini bar?
Ooh, no.
I would hate to have to expense $11 in nuts to the company you work for at this point right now, my friend.
No kidding.
Expense $11 in nuts. How much do we spend for our morning show?
$33 in nuts. That's more than we pay the afternoon guy.
Come on. All right, so here's this thing that I want to, since you were talking about smoking, and we have, because sometimes we're privy to video, seen you vaping. So I'm back in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I'm from, this weekend, and my nephew is going to be going to high school this fall, and already they've had the open house in the high school, and they've had maybe some parent meeting or whatever. But it seems to be that right now, and my daughter has brought this up too, my 12-year-old who's in 6th grade in middle school, that this vaping thing in school is a real big deal. Supposedly there's something called a Juul. Have
Yeah, you
guys
hit it
heard
right
of
there, man. Yeah, you got your finger on the pulse.
And the Juul is like having something that almost resembles a thumb drive, and
That's right.
Packs enough nicotine that it's equivalent of a couple of packs of cigarettes.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's one thing that that's the deal. It's no longer smoking in the boys' room, Brownsville Station. It's
Motley Crue.
vaping wherever and whatever. And that this is a huge deal in these schools right now.
Now, can you smoke weed in that with the oil, or does it have to be
Of course, you can smoke whatever. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I got you. Okay.
I'm sure they figured it out how to fill that with cannabis oil.
But I think either way, it's the fact that, when I was younger, yeah, we had a smoking area in high school. Well, I was in North Carolina. It was the 70s. And of course you can't smoke anywhere now, but this is a big deal for parents and children, is this vaping thing. Have you been vaping? Have you seen people vaping? What were they vaping? Well, I can't really tell. They were vaping. Mm-hmm. What's going on in the restroom, which is really different. I'm just going back in time because I have all these kids of various ages. Yeah, when my son was in middle school, back around, I would say 2001, 2002, the big thing that was going on in middle school was blowjobs. And now it seems like that's gone by the wayside. This middle school sex, and it's about vaping that they want to warn people about.
It's gone to the teachers.
Parents to be aware.
Teachers took over the blowjob duties, didn't they?
Maybe so. Maybe that's the deal. No, that's what I do. But no, it's just wild to these different trends, these different things that go on, right? But this vaping thing this is a concern for many helicopter parents. We have to clamp down on anything.
Well, when I'm driving home in the afternoon, and believe me, this is an hour, 15-minute commute, I see so many people vaping. And again, I don't know if it's nicotine or if it's oil or weed or whatever it is, but I mean, I would say at least every third or fourth car is just this big billowing thing of smoke or vape that's coming out of their window. Everyone's vaping. I'm like, was everyone stoned on the fucking highway right now, or they're just getting their nicotine fix because they're in hell on this traffic commute we're all dealing with in Austin? So I don't know. What do you think, Drew?
What's wrong with getting stoned on the highway?
Well, I would go completely paranoid. I couldn't do it.
Because when you're stoned, you feel like you're going 15 miles an hour. And when you're in Austin, you really are going 15 miles an hour.
So why do you need to vape?
Regulate your driving.
Right.
But maybe they're vaping snack food.
Yeah. Well, that could be nice.
that's they're vaping a Slim Jim.
Now that sounds like something I could go for.
I think that if you're going to do any of that stuff, you need to do it responsibly. And I also think that the kids that are vaping are probably going to be the kids that were smoking. I think it's probably easier.
Sure, yeah.
Probably a little healthier now. Than to stand next to the bushes and smoke.
That's what I mean. My daughter, who's in 6th grade, is telling me things. And I said, look, and she knows this because she's got a decent amount of common sense. There's always an element. I don't care if it's, and I was part of that element in and out.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's elementary school, middle school, high school. There's always going to be that element. It's just the way it is. Because my daughter's telling me, there are kids drinking liquor at school.
In middle school?
That way when I was in school. Yeah, kids had what we called liquid lunch when we went to school.
Wow.
And was that middle school?
I graduated in 1990.
Oh, good Lord. From high school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had plenty of friends that smoked cigarettes in the 6th grade. I mean, 6th grade was kind of a pivotal year for me because that's when I was hanging out with the bad bunch. But they were smoking. I mean, but again, it's North Carolina. Every fucking body smoked in the 70s back then. But this was still 6th grade, a little bit of weed.
You toss a smoke in your mouth and your teacher would light it.
So Texas is probably not going to legalize pot anytime soon. But what do you think about the new ruling today from the Supreme Court on sports betting? Do you think that we'll see that in Texas anytime soon, or we're still probably way, way down on the list for that one too?
I only have one thing to say on that.
Yeah.
Because I lived in Kansas City for 2 years, and I kind of see what kind of crime that breeds.
Mm-hmm.
And crime's probably the worst part of it. But it keeps poor people poor. That's the same kind of base that will go and bet sports and, go and sit in front of a slot machine. Those are the same kind of people that are going to go and buy a lottery ticket and they're going to play the lottery and, that kind of stuff. And that's typically of a certain income level. And I don't mean to single anybody out or disrespect anybody who plays that. I play that. I don't think that organized betting or gambling in Texas is something that should be welcomed.
Here's the way I think we can get it here in Texas. When they start putting the gaming board together, the money obviously they say is going to go somewhere, and it never will, just like the lottery did. But we could get Joel Osteen to get the evangelicals out there, get him on the gaming board, so that some of this money goes to the churches and the religious groups. And you get a lot of the, Franklin Graham, get him on board. And we could do sports betting all over the country. We might even get it in North Carolina with Franklin Graham. Osteen will be in Houston, getting it here in Texas. So you got to go after the Christians to get that money to
if we could take all those
go to Lakewood.
If we can take all those prosperity evangelists and saddle those fuckers up and race them, I would vote to legalize that.
Yeah.
How about that? That's an idea.
What's your feelings on it, John? You think we'll ever get it here?
Well, eventually everything will happen.
Yeah. Even pot?
Oh, yeah. Eventually.
I mean, why wouldn't we do sports betting?
It's been a long time in the state of Texas for everything. I mean, I personally, I understand the feeling of that these things, games of chance and whatnot, kind of prey upon the poor who don't understand the odds, especially in the lottery. But the thing is that I don't think it's the role of government to protect one from oneself. So that's kind of the same thing with drugs being illegal and any of these things. I think you should be able to hop on your computer and gamble. And if you want to go to, there's a casino and you want to gamble, fine. Most places where there's legalized gambling, people have that image of Las Vegas, but there are a lot of places where it's just all a little crappy, like Louisiana.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking when you said that.
Louisiana, I mean, you're going to stop in there? I mean, if you do, you turn around and walk right back out. It's just a bunch of machines, and it's
disgusting.
And boy, is it the smoke. Disgusting. The smoke, man. Good
How about
God.
the place that's got the live tiger on I-10?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, no, that's the reason why we need more Juuls out there, because then you won't have to worry about all that smoke.
That's
so
right, man. We're cleaning it up.
Blow your money chasing, but I think that should be there for everyone. I mean, if you want to do it, you want to do it. There it is. We all know that Texans fuel casinos in Louisiana and Oklahoma,
New Mexico.
And it's like, well,
yeah, all of those
just throw things up.
But what would these be like? I mean, would it be just like a place in a strip mall where you go in and place your bets with your bookie, or how does it work?
Sports book would be more like a little parlor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It isn't going to be like that.
No,
but it isn't going to be. It's going to be no. All you have to do is look at Oklahoma and the paradise that is Louisiana.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it will be in places like Beaumont, but on a grander scale and throughout the state. And it's disgusting.
I don't think so. I don't think with sportsbook to Las Vegas, I think is worth about $250 million a year.
Yeah, that's
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be smaller.
I just visualize
things. Lloyd, are you familiar with sweet shops in North Carolina?
No.
And these places that kind of had these games of chance that flew under the radar.
No.
Where people would go out to these strip malls, whatever, and play different games. And it kind of flew under the radar. It's just like when people have 8-line machines.
Mm-hmm.
That same kind of thing. I'm not saying, Drew, that it won't be, I'm sure it draws a certain clientele, but I think that for sports book, it's a little different. People don't go into a sports book because they just got done at the outlet mall and now they're looking to do something fun. It's a little bit more specialized in that. I don't see that because, like here, you can do off-track betting at Retama Park, and it's not like there's thousands of people there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of people that are betting on, other tracks, doing whatever. It doesn't have that same appeal because you have to know a little something. It doesn't have that. It's not like walking here and you've had a couple of pops and it's not like playing craps or roulette or a slot machine or it's
what kind of places describe the places that they're planning on legalizing? Because in my mind, it would be a bar on the east side of town where you got a guy in there who's got whatever point of sale system.
See, I think they're going to separate the alcohol. That's what I was trying to bring up. I think they're going to separate the alcohol and the betting. There may be private parlors, kind of like they have with the poker parlors that they have, where you have to be a member. But I'm like Lyle. I kind of think it's going to be a little bit more where you have got the nice big screen TVs. It's kind of a cool setting in there. You've got all the games up, be it whatever you're betting on, and especially on a Saturday or a Sunday on the weekend when the big games are going on, you're in there. And I don't know, man. To me, I think it could be a cool thing if you have the right setting. And there is going to be the shitholes. We all know that. But I think, it's kind of fun sometimes sitting in Vegas just to kind of, watch some of these games, all the big screen TVs there, and you lay your bets down.
Laid back thing.
Yeah.
Else.
Right.
It's not like table games, or anything that forces the action. It's and when you go, it's not like it's crowded.
Right.
When you go to the sports place.
Yeah, but are they going to stop there? I mean, that's where it's going to stop, and we'll never legalize anything further than that.
Well, not as long as John Cornyn is a senator.
Greg Abbott's governor.
He'll never die. So that's
but I really do. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if there are a few casinos and there it is, and people stay here instead of going to Las Vegas or Oklahoma or Louisiana. They're just dealing with Texas people. Anyhow, look, if you want to gamble, you'll figure out a way to do it.
You can fly southwest to Las Vegas and gamble your ass off, and then you can come back here.
But do you think the NCAA is or any of the professional franchises are going to try to shoot this down, especially college? Because Texas obviously is
talking about now Las Vegas has professional sports.
Well, I know. Exactly right. That's a good point.
Come on.
And as soon as that becomes popular, that could really force gambling to become legalized in other states. Of course,
but I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, I think gambling should be fine. Prostitution should be fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
If there are morality issues, I don't think the government should dictate to me what I do with it or not do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I play the stock market and have for 20 some years, and you talk about gambling.
I agree with you.
Talk about seeing your money go away, and all you got to do is click.
I just don't want it to turn into roadside convenience stores.
I don't think it will.
Tigers.
I don't think it'll be like that.
I don't either.
I don't. But even so, who cares?
I don't want to see people who are already pouring their money into. You see these poor kids, these poor old people at the convenience store standing there scratching shit off. Buying.
We see that already now.
But if you're in New Orleans or something, and there's a machine somewhere, I don't see people playing it. I mean, it's stuff that stands idle. And even in Las Vegas, I mean, where you get machines, or Nevada, where they're all over, and I don't see people playing that stuff. I mean, people have it out there just in case some idiot wants to,
I think it'd be a fun way to spend a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. You go hang out with your friends, and even if it's BYOB, and if you have to pay a membership to get in to bring your booze or whatever, if it is separated. But to me, it seems kind of like, okay, and hang out with my friends, watch a little football, play some bets. I think it'd be kind of a fun thing to do.
When I went to Hollywood, I went to some friends, who are going to be there, and I went to their house, and we played Texas Hold'em, and we played for cash, and it was a good time, real good time.
Yeah. I think it's fun.
I just think that's the whole thing with horse race tracks and pari-mutuel betting. They just can't survive. And in Texas, and then you look at tracks in other states, well, you go there. Drew, you mentioned Kansas. I remember being in Wichita, being at a dog track, and then there was a casino next to it. I mean, at least they had electronic games, let's put it that way. They had slot machines or whatnot. Fine. Go. I mean,
in Kansas City, Missouri, you got the casinos there. But they have to be riverboats.
Right.
Yeah, on the water. Well, I've been to casinos in, St. Louis, it wasn't, it just is, so what? I
but
think
these casinos, they're not
part of the population. They're going to blow money anyhow.
I'm glad we at least have the option. I don't think Texas is going to be a runner by no means. I think it's going to be a few years before we see it here. But, look, man, I welcome it. I think it'd be fun. I can handle Vegas for about 2 or 3 days where, you can do anything you want to out there. And I'm like, it's kind of like Drew talking about when you're exposed to so much pot. It's like, after a while, I'm kind of like, I'm done with it. I'm ready to go back home, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
After you hear those dings and the jingles off the games for 4 days, you're like, I don't want to hear that.
Well, and that's another thing, now it's all, you get a receipt and you take it to the thing, you cash out. You don't even get the clinging and clanging of the fucking money falling. My pennies and dimes dropping in my thing there.
The thing is there's plenty of sports books anyhow. If you want to bet on sports, you can bet on sports freely now.
Anywhere you want.
No problem.
Yeah.
But I just don't think government should be involved in these things. If government wants to make some money off of it, that's their deal. Okay, fine.
But here's the deal. All these guys in Austin who will be voting on it are coming from these rural areas all over Texas. So, maybe San Antonio and Austin and Dallas and Houston want it, but you got to think of all these politicians who want to get reelected going like, but I got to answer to, my Sunday school when I go back home this weekend. So that's why I don't think we'll get it here anytime soon.
No, well, we're never on the cutting edge of those things.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's been. They've tried to get casino gambling through the ledge for years. And it just is not happening. And it's always somebody maybe from Houston that's sponsoring a bill. Where they would only have casinos around, once again, the big populated areas, and that's it. Whatever. Lloyd, we remember a time where if it was Sunday and you wanted to buy a frying pan, you couldn't.
Right.
Blue law. I mean, you couldn't, you couldn't go to, there was no mall open on a Sunday.
Right.
You couldn't get anything. You could buy food.
My local Roses was closed. Couldn't get anything.
You couldn't go buy a frying pan on a Sunday.
Drew, do you even know what a blue law is?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I remember when the blue laws were relaxed.
All right.
Here in Texas, and we all freaked out that you could go to the mall on Sunday.
How much would you guys spend on your favorite band if they put out this really amazing box set of their biggest album? How much would you drop?
Well, that depends, Lloyd. I would go with $999 if it was the Guns N' Roses box set. If it was the Gene Simmons Vault box set, I would go for $2,000.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
So obviously I signed on the podcast tonight as Axel because Guns N' Roses just hit the chart this week for the first time in 10 years. With a song that was recorded back in 1986. And that would never made it on Appetite for Destruction, but the song is already top 10.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a good song. And they are going to be putting out a box set, a vault, if you will. $999. That's coming out in June. As much as I love Guns N' Roses, as much as I love that original version of the band, I still wouldn't drop $999. Just wouldn't do it. Just would not do it.
10?
I don't have an iPhone 10. I do not.
There's your 1,000.
Yeah, right.
You can finance that album.
Can you really?
Yeah, that's it. You don't really ever own the box set. You just lease it.
You lease it until. I went to the party. I went to the launch party for that during the summit over there in LA. And they played that.
So you know all about it then.
Wait a minute. Did you go? But did you leave early?
Yeah, I went. It was pretty amazing. But I have to say that basically that box set is a bunch of outtakes from Appetite.
Yeah,
and it's really everything they have from the Appetite section.
It's 73 additional tracks. I mean, and that's I'm like, what do they got? Slash taking a shit? Or?
They're all evidently from what we were told in LA, they're all new songs.
Wow. Interesting.
or songs that never made it to an album.
I mean, look, I'm a huge fan, but I wouldn't drop $1,000 on it. Just wouldn't.
Well, and Shadow of Your Love is the song
Right.
that's out right now. You can go on YouTube
and it's
listen to
good
it if you want to, but and it's great. But I will say that it doesn't belong on Appetite for Destruction.
No.
Yeah.
And I've always said if Use Your Illusion had been a single album instead of a double album, it would have been probably just as good as Appetite. My personal opinion.
Well, Shadow of Your Love was a song that was not originally a Guns N' Roses song. It was originally whatever the name of that band that he was in prior to Guns
Hollywood
N' Roses.
Rose.
Hollywood Rose.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was written during that time of his life, but they recorded it, and I like it. 73
total tracks. I'm reading this now. 49 tracks previously unreleased, 12 B-sides, 5.1 Blu-ray DVD of videos and shit. I mean, it is definitely a fan's, if I had a rich friend and they said, "Hey man, your birthday's coming up in August, Lloyd, what do you want?" I was like, "Okay, I'll take the Locked and Loaded Appetite for Destruction for $1,000. What do you say?"
Comes with a little flat heroin needle that you can clip out and pretend to use.
I go back to what Drew said. If you're dropping $1,000 on a stupid box set by Guns N' Roses,
right,
and yet, and that's legal, are you kidding me? Once again, if you're that stupid, go fine, do it. So
you get to keep the box set.
Keeping me away from throwing some bucks at a basketball game,
right?
That's just
because
stupid.
that's a goods and service thing. It's not gambling. It's totally different.
Yeah, so you're
How's it different? I mean, it's still goods and services. You've got something over there. It's a game of chance. That's the good, right? That's the good. And I'm paying for the game of chance. I mean, dropping $1,000. Look, fine. If there's suckers that want to do that, fine. There ain't any music recorded that's worth $1,000. There's tons of music out there, and it's certainly not Guns N' Roses, and it's certainly not Gene Simmons. Good Lord. God,
hey,
you should pay me.
You're going to have to send back your Beaver Kool-Aid t-shirts, man.
No, not least, man. I got it. But, I mean, come on. That's just dreck. That's taking advantage of people that are brain dead.
You have to send back anything that has a brand on it, John. You have to send it back.
You don't think people's been doing this on the Stones for fucking ever, or any of these bands that still are around? Pink Floyd. I mean, this shit's been going on forever. The Eagles, Elton John.
I mean, Kiss perfected it.
Guns N' Roses and Gene Simmons into that mix?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding?
Gene Simmons
invented band music merchandising.
Gene Simmons, yeah, he invented a way to be talentless, but have a talent for money.
I got to say, the one who invented merchandising was Colonel Tom Parker and Elvis. That was the beginning of merchandising right there.
I mean, but that's, it's all still.
But there weren't Elvis dolls or anything like that. They weren't.
Yes, there were. Look,
throw your money away.
Yes, there was tons of it.
But Kiss pinball machines and Kiss T-shirts and Kiss blood in the comic. But Kiss did all of that. Kiss is the reason. There wouldn't be any. There wouldn't be any Metallica dolls and shit like that.
Why did they market Kiss My Ass?
There wasn't, because they made a mockery of the genre. Because they're the
there wouldn't be any McFarlane, fucking Jimi Hendrix dolls
and nonsense because they had makeup on. I mean, come on. It's just it's rock and roll Scooby Doo.
Have you seen Kiss Meets Scooby Doo? It's a good movie, John.
Several times.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's good shit. So I want to give a shout out to our good friend Chuck Stanley. He's unfortunately having to close CBQ Smokehouse. He's going through a little medical issues, and the stress is kind of, his doctor has just said, "Hey, you need to get out of business for a little while and just go take care of yourself." So I know he's a big fan, and I know he's got to close CBQ, which is not a great thing because that's an awesome place. But hope you get better, my friend. So anyway, wanted to drop that out there.
You come back and open up a place a sports book.
Yes, right.
Place where we can bet on sports. That'll be great. But
maybe like our Kiss-themed sports book.
My former producer Chuck Stanley, who called his shot, man. He quit radio and said, "I'm going to culinary school.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm going to open up a restaurant.
And killed it.
Twice. And way to go, Chuck.
Yes.
You called your shot, man.
Yes.
That's a pretty super thing. I mean, I'm too puss to be able to do that, at least at this point. But
That's a good question. John, what would you do if you could do anything and be your own boss?
I'm doing it right now, Drew.
Living the dream.
I'm doing it right now. Thank God we don't have video.
Good Lord.
See, those are those questions I used to ask my kids when they're 11 or 12. You know, what is it you could do if you could do anything? It didn't matter how much money you made. There it was. I've been struggling with this for the last 4 years. I have absolutely no clue.
I
wanna
asked
be
my
a
daughter.
travel writer, but I don't want to have to write.
Oh, that's a great idea. Travel writer's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to write. I want people. I'd like to be a travel secret
Podcaster?
shopper. You
How
know,
about a
like
travel
go and
podcaster?
stay in all these hotels, go to these resorts,
Right.
all these different things, and just be a regular tourist.
You know what you
and,
got to do?
be
You got to
secret
do
shopper.
a podcast of you traveling, but it's really just a podcast of you walking into your hotel room.
I like
And,
that.
and like you walk in and you're like, oh, I'm here. Wow, it's really big in here. Hey, let's look in the bathroom. Oh, look at these little soaps. And that's really like the podcast.
Right.
And then
15 minutes
that's it. And then I
long.
go, $11 for the
Yeah, I
nuts.
started to say it closes
And I
out with
go,
$11 for the
nut.
cashews.
$11 for the nuts.
They look so good though. Fuck it. They eat the nuts.
I will go to your party and I will tear it up.
Beaver Kool-Aid
Get it hard.
with Lyle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew.
Make it like a man.
So go ahead, stick your head up your ass.